Hi y'all, this is Vivian England and it's pruning time for your paniculatas. This is Limelight and I'm going to be shaping this tree because if you'll notice I pruned this to where it is a tree now instead of a bush. But I'm trying to keep my height down, and this particular type of or species of plant will grow up to 15 feet tall, and I have a neighbor that has one that is 15 feet tall. So one of the purposes for us pruning is if you take one limb, any limb here, and you will see where I pruned last year. If I hadn't pruned this limb, I would have got one bloom. And I got 2 blooms off of that limb. This bloom's broken off. And on this limb, I got 3 blooms. So by pruning, you increase the number of blooms you get. So I'm going to get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go right above a bud. And here are your buds right here going up. And I'm going right above the bud, and I'm going to be about an inch. And I am going to take those off. And there's a bud. And another bud. And if you notice, I haven't knocked my blooms off. The wind's gotten some of them. But I don't know whether you know or not, but hydrangeas have seed. And the birds can eat some of the seed inside this hydrangea. But that's another talk that we'll have to do at a later date. And as you see, I'm definitely lowering this bush. We'll go down here. Now, Limelight's not bad about rubbing limbs, as some plants are. And if you'll notice, this limb overlaps this limb, but they're not touching. So I'm not going to remove this limb. I'm just going to cut it just a little bit longer. And that one is rubbing. I think we'll go ahead and get that one. Well, it's not. Okay, we'll leave it like it is. Back up here, lowering the height. Now, eventually, this will get too high for me to do this. Because you notice I'm leaving 5 or 6 inches here. And eventually, it will just be a tree. But I'm doing my best to control it right now. Alright, I'm going to have to finish this. That little limb we're going to take off. That little limb we're going to take off. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to stop for a minute. I'm going to finish this up so you can look at it after all the limbs have been. Y'all, here's the finished product. Looks a lot different than it did before we started, doesn't it? But we are controlling the height of it. We've tried to get most limbs, if they cross and touch, we've removed all the small limbs. So this is your finished product. And this needs to be done every February, sometime in February or early March. But we will get more blooms And that's the purpose of pruning of paniculata and limelight. Catch y'all.